Hi, welcome to Village TV, the story behind small business and entrepreneurs. My name is Sean Krugler, and today I'm joined by Dev Singh. Dev, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Sean. Good to be here.
Absolutely. Now, Dev, we're going to talk about how authentic and strategic branding makes you more money. Now, I know this is something you're very passionate about and very good at as well, but one thing I wanted to get into was, I know you're very upset, maybe even pissed off with entrepreneurship sector. Dev, can you tell people why?
Yeah, look, Sean, I've been in the sector for about 5-6 years now, and having worked across about 5 continents and clients from over a dozen countries and across various sectors, ranging from corporate to small business startups, tech entrepreneurs, all sorts of people. And one thing I've realized is that in business education, there's a lot of selling of hopes and dreams. And what I mean by that is that there are a lot of people out there who are not necessarily ill-intentioned, but for whatever reason, the culture of entrepreneurship has become such that people are leading with image. And what that means, specifically, in a practical term, is that people get caught up with this idea of branding and marketing. It sort of pisses me off, as you said, a little bit more specifically because I'm a branding and marketing expert, or at least that's what I get accused of being from time to time.
A guru from time to time as well. But
oh, that's even worse. But there's a lot of branding and marketing gurus out there who essentially are selling these hopes and dreams to people to say that, look, if you polish yourself up enough, if you glisten and gleam enough, then that's okay. It's going to get you customers and clients. It's going to make your business thrive. And what I've realized is that it's just a load of rubbish. I used to fall into that trap of believing that as well, and it just doesn't work anymore.
Now, I know you're all about being authentic, and I think that's very powerful. Do you think a lot of entrepreneurs are doomed because of the corrupt culture that maybe has been developed in marketing?
Look, that's a great question. I think people are starting to get familiar with the term seminar junkie, and with all due respect to everyone watching this, I would encourage everyone to consider asking yourself that question. Are you a seminar junkie? Are you one of those people who hops from seminar to seminar, training to training, in the hope that one magic thing is going to make it click for you, and all of a sudden you're going to get the gold mine of knowledge and wisdom that you need to make your business successful? And I think that is not necessarily just the fault of the entrepreneur or the aspiring entrepreneur hopping from knowledge base to knowledge base. It is part of the, as you said, rightly so, a corrupt culture where there are these people selling image and style before substance, if you will.
Okay.
And as a result of that, people get sucked into it as well, because what they buy more than business education is actually a sense of belonging to a community that just propagates this merry-go-round and this kind of carousel, if you will.
And do you think that carousel has a lot to do with, as you said, the glitter and spin, and each month there's a different workshop, different new fad that comes into the market with marketing or creating entrepreneurs? Are we stuck? A lot of entrepreneurs stuck in that glitter and spin for branding and marketing?
Yeah, look, I mean, this has been my observation, definitely, and it's been my observation whether from Sydney to Stockholm. I've worked with entrepreneurs in London, worked with entrepreneurs in a lot of different places, and I've realized that this is really something to do with the culture of entrepreneurship, particularly in the last 5 to 10 years in Sydney that I've noticed. It's something that transcends individuals, individual personalities, individual cultures. It's more than that. It's actually about getting caught up in all of this information that's coming at you from a whole bunch of different angles that is saying that if you put on this image, if you present yourself as something perhaps more fantastic than you're even willing to admit to yourself, but it's okay to tell other people, then all that success will follow. And it just doesn't work that way. I think I wrote an article recently on Medium, actually, not on my blog, and I said something, and I said branding and marketing has very much become a bit like encouraging people to put their best foot forward, but almost also, in addition to that, pretending like their other foot doesn't even exist. And then what do you do if you have 2 left feet? And then people wonder why they're falling all over each other.
Now for entrepreneurs who agree with you and see that side, how do they get out of that or escape the cycle of that marketing splitter and spin, as you describe it? Where's the escape button?
Sure. Well, one thing that I want to emphasize really clearly is that I'm not just saying this to have a rant, right? It's something that I've realized is really causing practical damage to people who are of substance, real entrepreneurs, and also their customers as well, because people go in putting so much emphasis on their idea of branding and marketing and their idea of what good customer service is and what good image is, that when it comes time to deliver the goods, they fall short. So in the short time, you might get a lot of quick wins, but in the long run, not only will you not be able to sleep well, your customers and clients are going to suffer as well, and thereby obviously your business is going to suffer. So how do you actually escape that?
Yeah.
I think firstly, you got to get really clear on what your values are as an entrepreneur. And I know that almost sounds cliche as well, and I'm all about meaningful and measurable results and being very, very practical. And I think people treat this idea of getting clear about your values as an entrepreneur in a very facetious way. They say, well, let's make a list of values, and then we'll go and talk to a bunch of other entrepreneurs about our values, and then we'll take that piece of paper that we wrote all our values down, shove it in a drawer, and never look at it again. Really, the question is, how do you actually integrate what your core fundamental values are, not just into your philosophy or your mission statement or the copy on your About Us page on your website, but in your actual business strategy. And there are very few people out there, I realize, who are actually teaching how to do this, and there are very few people actually doing it.
So there's a real mismatch between what people are doing, what entrepreneurs are doing, and their value structure.
That's right.
And there needs to be a lot more interconnection with those two.
Yeah, that's right. Interconnection, and I would say it's really the essence of integrity. It's a word that I speak a lot about in various interviews and at my events and on my blog at devsingh.net as well. I speak about it. And what I've realized is that people don't appreciate what that word really means. To me, it's very simple. Integrity is really when your thoughts, beliefs, and actions are aligned. And essentially what I'm talking about here is that there has become a culture of saying that we won't talk about it explicitly, but really, if your thoughts, beliefs, and actions are not aligned, it's okay. Because there's this old adage in marketing as well, that sell people what they want and then deliver what they need. Now, I believe in that in principle. I understand where people are coming from. There's a complicated psychology aspect to that, which perhaps we don't have enough time to go into right now.
Another day.
Another day. But the idea of it is that I think people take it too simplistically. They think that they can promise one thing and deliver something else, and it just becomes misleading and confusing, not only to the customers and clients that you're selling to, but to the entrepreneur themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And can be, well, if you're truly authentic, can you make money?
Absolutely. I think it's the only way to make money. The simplest way that I put this now is that the age of attention is long gone. It's actually very, very easy to get people's attention, and that's not good enough anymore. We're in the age of engagement now. And the only way that you're going to engage in an era where media is so democratized, where everybody is a lot smarter as a consumer, right? You're not just talking to a community of other entrepreneurs. Hopefully you have customers and clients that you actually want to sell to, and they're a lot smarter. They're a lot smarter at figuring out what you're about. They're a lot smarter at seeing through the veneer of glossy polishings, and they're a lot smarter at learning very quickly from their own mistakes. So what that means is that if you deliver a lot of hype and then you don't deliver the substance after it, they might buy the hype, but really where the money is actually in the substance. So if you're not able to deliver that substance following on from the hype, you might make a quick few wins, and that's fine, good for you. But in the long run, where are you going to stand? You're not actually making the real money that is being able to make when you actually invest in those relationships, coming from a place of values, coming from a place of authenticity.
And I guess, we live in a referral society now.
Yeah,
and you need to be honest and upfront and deliver and be authentic. And I totally believe in that. I'm so glad you're spreading this message. I have one one last interesting question. The Wolf of Wall Street. Interesting situation.
Yep.
Guy hasn't paid back his millions. Not very authentic, I don't believe. Do you think this guy will succeed in business? I mean, does this guy have a place in business or in the life of entrepreneurs?
It's a great question. It's a question of philosophical morality that I find myself asking as well sometimes. Is it possible in the world for a bad person to get his dues? There's Tucker Max, one of my favorite authors. He wrote a book called Assholes Finish First. Excuse my language. And and I wonder, is that true? Is it actually true? Does the nice guy finish last? Where does this interweb of authenticity overlap with morality? Now, when it comes to the Wolf of Wall Street, let me tell you, I've met a lot of wolves across a whole bunch of streets, right here in Sydney as well. And I'm not going to name names, obviously, but there are a lot of people that a lot of your listeners will know, and there are people that your listeners won't know, that your viewers won't know of. And one thing I can tell you is that they all have diehard fans. And there are people who absolutely love Jordan Belfort as well. I don't know him personally. I have a couple of friends who do know him personally, and I've heard some stories on both sides of the tale. And the one thing that I would say is that we're at a point where you really have to, as a consumer, you have to invest a little bit more into the relationship and become smarter yourself and be committed to becoming smarter yourself to really figure out what's going on behind the story. Because I'm not a financial analyst.
Yeah.
I don't know what Jordan's debt situation is like, or what his dues are, what his owes are. So I can't really comment on that aside from what you read in the media. But what I will say is that there's a lesson to be learned here in this context of authenticity. What does authenticity mean to you? That's one thing that I would encourage you to ask. Secondly, what do you think it actually means to your customers and clients? Because it might mean two different things. And if it means two different things, and you're coming from a place of what you think is authentic, and your customers and clients don't see it that way, then there's obviously going to be a mismatch. And when it comes time to build on that relationship, to create those win-win scenarios where you have a successful business, you're going to fall short. So whether you want to learn that lesson from Jordan Belfort or learn it from a whole bunch of other people, I think the fact that you might consider yourself an absolute angel, someone else might think of you as a Wolf of Wall Street kind of character, and you're shooting yourself in the foot there. So it's not good enough to just say that, yes, I'm an authentic guy, I'm coming from a values-based place. You got to get absolutely clear what that actually means, how it relates to your strategy, and what it actually means to your customers and clients that informs their purchasing decisions.
Fantastic. Well, that's another episode from the Village TV, the story behind small business and entrepreneurs. Today we've had Dev Singh talk to us about authentic and strategic branding that helps you make more money. Dev, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
If people want to know more about you, where can they go find out?
They can probably best place to go would be devsingh.net. You can also check out the Life Optimise show. It's a podcast series that I produce and host where I'm really endeavoring to have authentic conversations like these as well with people from all around the world.
Fantastic. There it is. Thank you very much, Dev. And till the next episode, thanks for joining us.